Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Conveyancing Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host Matthew, and I'm joined today by my co-host Thomas. How are you today, Thomas?
I'm fine. Pleasure to be here again.
Good. These are the ways that you can currently consume the podcast. It's originally on YouTube. We also have a Facebook page and a Twitter page. We're on Anchor FM, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and a number of other podcasts. I can't remember which ones those are, though. And please subscribe to one of those if you want to get more news on conveyancing. And I'm just going to put out a disclaimer, like we are not offering legal advice. We're just offering an overview of the conveyancing news and our own take on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got a few articles to go through today.
Yeah, the first one, first couple being from the Law Society Gazette. So the first one is about coronavirus, and it's about the SRA won't be allowing the exams to go online for law schools, which probably means that we might not have solicitors for a while, or new solicitors. What do you think about this, Matthew?
Yes, I would have thought that given the current circumstances with the virus and everything, that they might have allowed people to do the training online. I don't know if it'd been like moving towards going online, but apparently the way that they're currently done is not online, and the law schools are going to have to postpone the examinations. So yeah, there won't be any lawyers being created for a couple of weeks. I don't know how that's going to affect. There won't be any trainees for the law firms to take on. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough answer to this problem that has happened. I would have imagined that internet, like you've said, would have been the first choice, and it would have been like an acceptable choice. I don't see the real complications of doing it. I don't see why they won't allow it. But they must know what they're doing, I guess. So we'll just have to see how this plays out, really. I'm not sure if there'll be that many problems, because maybe this period of time that we're talking about is not much longer than possibly 2 months, possibly. So maybe 2 months is enough for it. Like, it's enough for no new solicitors or lawyers to be needed.
Yeah, it says here that it's important that supervision is in place to ensure integrity and security. So obviously they think people might cheat online, get someone else to do it for them or something. And it says here that the University of Law, Britain's biggest law school, is hoping to convert some assessments to online methods in the future. So that'd be positive.
Assessments are definitely something that can be done on the internet. I understand their concern about exams, but there's still plenty of ways you can do exams on the internet without problems. I do believe.
Yeah.
There's always a way to do it.
I think they've overcome most of the problems.
Yeah.
With that in other institutions. And it says here that the coronavirus shouldn't disrupt the new solicitors qualifying exam, which is due to start next autumn in 2021. So you'd hope the outbreak is over by then. You never know.
Never know. I mean, should be, hopefully.
Yeah.
This next article is also about the coronavirus, as stated in the title, which is coronavirus. Now, new guidance over conveyancing transactions. So,
yeah, it says that a lot of the focus on the coronavirus outbreak has been sort of retail and hospitality, like hygiene in hotels, restaurants, shops, supermarkets. And now people are starting to sort of wake up to that this may affect the residential conveyancing transactions. So the ways that it might affect conveyancing is, these examples here are like the person buying might want the property to be decontaminated before they move in case there's like trace of the virus left over. Or maybe where they buy it and the seller refuses to leave because they're still isolating. And then another one which I thought about before, it's like if the banking system shuts down, if the banks decide to send their employees home, then no one's going to be able to send any money, like by chaps or whatever. And then removal companies, like if they can't get their furniture moved from one house to another, that would be a problem. And if you need witnesses to sign legal documents,
they might not be able to attend.
Yeah, exactly. And the same goes for like a surveyor or somebody doing an evaluation on a property.
Yeah,
they might not be able to turn up and do that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there's many ways it could be affected.
There's so many. Well, we just have to hope that things don't get as affected or get worse, really. I mean, it could it could affect it in a more negative way, as in like maybe people don't even manage to sell their houses anymore because people are too afraid of the house has already been contaminated, so they don't even want to buy a new one. I don't know. But like it could be worse in a very simple way. So let's hope it doesn't get worse or even this bad. Like.
Yeah, the Law Society is saying, if you've issued contracts, maybe you should review the contracts and see what kind of clauses there are in there covering strange events like these, because maybe they haven't really been taken into account in the past. But I would think that most contracts would cover, if the seller refuses to leave. It doesn't really matter for what reason. But I guess you can't really force somebody out if they're in isolation for a deadly.
Maybe a lot of buyers are nice as well, and they say, well, maybe you could just stay with us or something while you try and find some new place. I don't know.
Well, they might not be nice if they haven't got anywhere else to live, because they'll be paying out for a hotel room, or I suppose they can go and live with family or whatever, or friends.
Yeah, I mean, buyers, they get to the house of the seller, and the seller, since it's quarantine, maybe they allow the seller to stay there for a while until he or she finds a new place. I don't think it'll be the case, though. I mean, yeah, you can always just stay with family if it's an option, so.
I mean, where's the liability? If the guy can't leave, if the sellers can't leave due to the virus, are they liable for any damages? Would they have to pay? It's a tricky one.
Let's hope all of this gets cleared up, really, or all of this gets under control in the next couple months. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. This next one's about a solicitor aged 66 who has been banned struck off for trying to kiss a 15-year-old in a pub.
Right. It says a 15-year-old. Is it a girl or a boy? Do we know that?
I don't think we do. Oh, kiss her. Okay.
15-year-old girl. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, because you never know these days. And, veteran solicitor convicted of sexual assault after trying to kiss a teenager in a pub. Well, I mean, he wasn't doing it in his office, was he? I mean, it is an offence. I guess any criminal offence could lead to you being struck off.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, when I was saying he's not in the wrong, we're just saying, that we're talking about him being struck off here. Like, it is, obviously it's
not
sexual assault.
Yeah, it's not misconduct at work. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not like anything he did in his job.
It's not good that he's done what he's done, but it doesn't. He shouldn't have been struck off, so to say. He didn't like Matthew just said. He wasn't really in a workplace or anything. This was just a pub. So. And
he was trying to kiss her, so he didn't actually kiss her either.
Yeah, I guess that. I don't think that applies.
So he pleaded guilty, and he was sentenced to a community order, 25 days or 100 hours of unpaid work, and had to pay £100 compensation. So, yeah, that's pretty steep, no? Like 100 hours of work, unpaid.
And he even got struck off too, like...
I don't know if he had to do sweeping the streets or whether he did, like, legal work.
I don't know, yeah. I don't think it actually says... It doesn't go into too much detail on that matter.
I doubt he could do legal work anyway, because he was struck off.
Oh yeah, struck off. At the age, I'm not sure if he could be sweeping the streets too long, is what I mean, anyway.
Actually, at 66, he's probably due to retire soon anyway. I don't know if this will affect his pension, because like he would have just about been trying to draw a pension.
Hopefully not. I mean, it says at the end that the tribunal agreed that Black should be struck off and that he pay £1,275 in costs. So he had to pay 100 and then he had to pay 1,275. I mean, it's not that big of a cost if he's already got some savings. It doesn't affect his pension, I don't know.
Yeah. It says the sentence included a statutory 5-year notification requirement as the victim was aged under 18. So does that mean he's on the sex offenders register then?
Most likely.
But I thought the age of consent was 16. Has it actually changed to 18 then?
I think age of consent is probably 16, but this individual was still 15 anyway.
Yeah, but it says the victim was aged under 18. I mean, if it's like professionally, like if it's a teacher, I thought, yeah, I mean, if they're under 18 and basically they're being abused by somebody in a position of authority. But I thought the age of consent, like outside of work, was still 16. But I'll have to look that up.
I believe, but I think maybe it has gone up or something. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, she's still not old enough, so.
Yeah, she's not old enough in any of the two cases. So.
It says he touched her chin and tried to kiss her, but no kiss occurred, and he did not know her age.
Isn't that what they always claim, though? That they didn't know the age?
Well, if she was in a pub, if she's 15, why is she in a pub? You're not allowed to be in a pub until you're 18. No? Oh, I suppose
there's a lot of underage drinking.
No, I suppose you're allowed in a pub, aren't you? If you're with your parents or whatever.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go into too specific. Maybe she was just trying to chill out with some friends or something, and this strange old man started trying to...
It says he has since received counselling over his mental health and ceased to drink alcohol. So
yeah, I mean, he's getting counselling. Maybe it's some issue he's had, and I don't know.
It's like alcohol related, I think.
Maybe. Either way, let's move on with the next one. This is the Daily Mail. What the property market might have done without coronavirus. What do you think? What does the article tell us here?
I think this is a very similar one to what we had last week. It's the Boris bounce they're talking about. After Boris got elected, the property prices started growing again. I guess people were more confident in the future, or at least that we had some like resolution over Brexit. But they're saying now the coronavirus is affecting the property market. It's growing slower than it really should be.
Yeah.
No big surprise really, is it?
Not really. I mean, these graphs on this article are actually sort of very similar to the ones we had last week.
Yeah, it shows during in the middle of 2019, the property prices rose, but then by the end of 2019, they've gone back down again. Due to Brexit, and then since Boris came in December, they've shot up.
Yeah, they've gone higher than they were before. Higher than that point that they got to in the middle of 2019.
Yeah, and these statistics are provided by Rightmove, which is one of the biggest online estate agents. So, I mean, everybody's heard of Rightmove. It's the biggest one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's no... What's that mean then? So the time taken to secure a buyer is also at an all-time low, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, in 2019 it was 62 days to find a buyer for you if you're selling a house, and but it has come down under Boris. Yeah.
Yeah, it went up to 75, and now it's gone down to 67. So it hasn't reached that point. The point in 2019 I'm talking about, where it went down to 62, and it stayed on 62 for a while, but at least it's gone down. I mean...
Yeah, the Boris bounce is definitely a real effect.
Yeah.
So, mortgages... More properties are being bought more quickly than at this time last year. So it's fueling shortages of property available for sale.
Hmm.
And look at these mortgage rates. They're so low at the moment. It's 1% mortgages. Especially as the Bank of England just put down the interest rates again because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good time to get a mortgage, really, isn't it?
Probably is a good time to get a mortgage, yeah. Maybe this whole coronavirus is favourable in some sort of a way.
It's an opportunity for property investors.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
What do we have next on the list? This next one is from EGI, or the Radio Data Exchange. The article is about auction houses or auctioners switching to remote bidding only for housing, for the houses. It's a very interesting article. We went over it beforehand and we saw that already 25% of buyers already use remote bidding methods. So maybe I don't think this will be bad at all. I don't feel this will... It's a good precaution, really.
Yeah, it's 3 big auction houses like Allsop, Savills and Acutus are all going to run during March. They're going to do their sales with remote bidding only, so all their bids will have to be taken over the phone or online, I guess. But as Thomas says, at the moment 25% of all the buyers are already doing that. So people are familiar with it. They've been doing it for a long time. So maybe it won't be too bad. But all this is to avoid people gathering together for the coronavirus, of course. And there was something interesting down here, wasn't there? Yeah, there's an online auction place, Bamboo, and they provide their technology to websites like Clive, Emerson and Hunters. And I think they've seen a boost because their online system will be useful for this kind of situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on because of the coronavirus at the moment. I mean, it's only logical, really, isn't it? I just hope, I really do hope things don't get worse in any sense. That's all.
It says here that they're selling more houses, but they're sort of selling less coffee shops and things like that. They're selling less property where people would be congregating together, which is a strange trend. It says here between 23rd and 27th of March they have auctions scheduled in Chelmsford, Maidstone, Fareham, Saltash and Brighton.
Make sure you tune in between the 23rd and the 27th of March to grab yourself a
cheap property.
Cheap property, yeah. Well, maybe they're not cheap. Maybe they have like luxury £1 million mansions. I don't know.
Depends how high people bid, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. There's always a starting point, though. Then this next one is from the Property Wire. Mortgage lenders could pull out of the market. Now, this at first. I'm not sure. This is not what it seems like. Like the title might be a little clickbaity. What it essentially means is because didn't we? It said something about it's basically they're not going to be lending money, money, but they're not going to be lending it as much now, or possibly at all. It's not like they're going to get out of the market completely, right?
Yeah, what it looks like, I mean, this coronavirus news again, I mean, pretty much all of our stories have been coronavirus. Apart from the solicitor kissing the girl in the pub. Yeah, it looks like that a lot of mortgage brokers might stop lending money due to the coronavirus effect. Why is it drying up? Well, the stock market has gone down, so there's less cash sloshing about. I mean, this I think will more affect people remortgaging, because people are looking to free up some money, and they're probably not going to get a remortgage at a big bank, so they probably go to a smaller broker, and these brokers have, they've been hit hard, so they're not going to be lending out any money at the moment. So I don't really know what the upshot of that is, but yeah, and again, the interest rate's gone down last week, so nobody's making any money out of lending money.
Yeah, money out of money. No, but yeah, like I said, it's not like we have seen in the article that some small mortgage lenders will be maybe possibly completely getting out of the market, but just for now, just as right now, most of the mortgage lenders will probably just stand by and wait to see if things get better, and if they don't, then it might be their inevitable demise. We shall hope it isn't, though.
I imagine they're just looking to put their money into other markets that are more profitable.
Yeah.
And like we were saying earlier, there probably are some upsides to the coronavirus that we're not aware of. Like, there must be some people profiting from it.
Well, I hope. Because if not, it's all bad. So we've got these next two articles here are from Legal Futures, and this first one is about a solicitor whose 7-year exile ended thanks to stars.
Yes. This is about when the SRA came along and started regulating, before it was the Law Society that was regulating solicitors. I mean, maybe it wasn't regulating them, it was just making solicitors. And the Solicitors Regulation Authority came along, and everybody joined up and got their firms registered. And I assume some firms didn't, and they became unregulated firms. And solicitors weren't allowed to practice legal activities from unregulated firms. So this lady that these stories about, she's left the profession to continue to give legal advice from an unregulated firm. But now the SRA's decided to change the rules, and this was strongly opposed by the Law Society when they proposed it. And so now she has joined back up as a solicitor, and she can continue to give legal advice from an unregulated firm. So I guess does that mean that all the SRA regulated firms should just leave the SRA now that it doesn't make any difference whether you're SRA regulated or not?
Maybe. I mean, maybe it's in some people's interest to stay in the SRA. Maybe they're getting some sort of a incentive. I don't know. I mean, now that it is permitted, then is there really any real reason to stay in the SRA? It's a question. Maybe a lot of people are asking themselves that right now.
In 2013, she closed down her law firm T.J. Shepperton, and now she runs Landlord Law. This must be the unregulated firm. And another thing that I found interesting was when she rejoined the role to be a solicitor again, she was startled to have to do a criminal record check. Because I guess when she first joined up, she didn't need to do that.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's because of that, but the poor lady. I mean, she was exiled, and then she suddenly has to do a criminal record check. Maybe she thought it had something to do with her being exiled, and she saw it as a personal attack, but it probably wasn't. It was just it's just the new regulations, if I'm not mistaken.
And from what I understand here, her company, Landlord Law, so if you're a landlord and you're renting to tenants, you just sign up and you just pay £25 a month, or you get a reduction on the whole year, and it gives you access to all her agreements, articles, guides, webinars, and a discussion forum. So I guess they can get all the legal paperwork they need to give to their tenants. And also, if they pay a higher fee, like £40 a month, they can have a DIY eviction kit, helping them to evict the tenant if they have a problem, I guess. So that is quite interesting, that one, and it is kind of conveyancing related.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is.
Yeah, landlords, tenants. It's unregulated conveyancing.
Yeah, exactly. It's still conveyancing though, now. This is the second one by Legal Futures, and it states that lawyers face a new anti-money laundering levy.
Yeah, the new Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, he's proposing to raise taxes, levy taxes for money laundering purposes, to tackle money laundering. So I guess this is going to have to be paid by all law firms. So all law firms that are subject to the money laundering regulations. But it doesn't say how they're going to raise these taxes. Is it going to just be taken out of the taxes we already pay, or is it going to be a new tax? So we might have to come back to this one at a later date.
You have a point. We don't have enough information just yet on how to cover this completely, but we will get back to it hopefully enough.
But it says that lawyers and accountants are being targeted, exploited by criminals to help them launder money, and it's like a new task force to look into that. Professional anti-money laundering supervision. So yeah, I'd like to really know how they're gonna raise this money. Will it be? I mean, it'll only be passed on to the customer. The clients will end up paying for it, basically. So let's move on to the next one now.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Homes and property. New Docklands flats offer flexible tenancies and a choice of interior schemes. This is in Canary Wharf.
This is like Evening Standard Homes and Property.
Yeah.
And like Canary Wharf is, or the Docklands, it's an area in London. They used to build ships there, and it was all the dry docks where they could get big ships out of the water, and it's all been converted, like light rail, skyscrapers. I guess like a lot of the people living there, bankers working in the big banks around there. It's like riverfront property. And it says these flats have residence clubs, gyms, private dining rooms. And this is 10 George Street. I'm not really familiar with George Street, but I imagine it's a nice street.
Yeah.
And yeah, it says within the banking quarter of Canary Wharf. And it's aimed at financing sector workers, so yeah, it will be bankers. And they get little parks by the skyscrapers, and 327 homes in total, and high-speed broadband connectivity.
Ooh.
So they're rented flat. You can't buy these, can you?
No, they're rents, I'm very sure. Only rentals.
But it says lease it like you own it. So they come with a 50-inch TV, fully furnished. So,
yeah, they're the perfect place to live in for like a month at most.
Before your money runs out.
Yeah, before you're completely bankrupt, yeah.
There's a 24/7 concierge and management service, so that they'd have like a doorman, security, someone helping you with your bags in the lift.
Yeah, I don't doubt that there's a lack. I mean, I don't doubt that there isn't a lack of features. It sounds like they have a lot of things in there, including the security. Well, I expect there to be security for everything that there is. I think it looks nice, but it's for the rich man, I do believe.
It says locally there are 5 shopping malls with more than 300 shops, bars and eateries, and a multi-screen cinema and concert venues. So
that's what an area.
Plenty to do there, no?
Yeah, you've got a lot of things. Well, there you go, people. You know what to do. Head over to Canary Wharf if you want to live like a prince,
like a rock star,
like a king, or a queen.
So it says rents start from £490 a week for a studio. So that's like a 1-bedroom. So that's like £2,000 a month, 2,000 a month, and a 2-bedroom flat starts at 890.
Yeah, well, 900. Yeah, it's crazy. It is a lot. If it was a month, I guess it'd be okay. I mean, it would be pretty good, I guess, for the price. But
if you're a banker, you're probably earning 6 figures as a banker. I mean, maybe the bank even pays for you to have this flat.
Yeah, true. I guess.
I don't imagine they're too worried.
All right, well, let's end with something that's, in my opinion, more luxury than what we just saw before, because I like this home a lot. This is the perfect home for newlyweds, a country home or house with excellent transport links and a little work to do. So this house is in the countryside. It's in Lincoln, close to Nottingham. This is what the article says here. The person is claiming it's stupidly pretty and within the budget of most people wishing to escape city life.
Let's see what the price is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very white. It's very bright inside, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very bright. The outside looks very, very nice. This probably would be something I'd like at some point. Although I feel like it might be a little too big for my personal taste. But it still looks very nice. It's very, kind of looks simple yet beautiful.
The kitchen. Ivy growing up the outside walls.
Yeah, that's a very nice aesthetic choice.
That definitely can actually break the bricks eventually. The roots can damage the brickwork.
Maybe that's why they said there's a little work to be done on this house, because it's probably got.
It doesn't look like it needs any work, does it? But
no, but maybe it is just maybe something on the inside. I don't know, maybe a toilet's broken or something, or maybe a door hinge is not working very well. I don't know.
It's got nice hedgerows. It's got a lovely lawn and then nice trimmed hedgerows like running around the outside of the property. Lots of trees.
I wonder if this one's got a lot of acres of garden as well. Yeah. Although this is supposed to be affordable, so maybe not. The kitchen looks very luxury though, and like the interior of what I'm seeing right now seems
so the
very
price is
modern.
595,000.
That's strange enough. That doesn't seem very affordable.
I think that is more for. I mean, those multi-million pound properties we looked at, they're a bit more out of people's reach. But that's the kind of money you could afford, like maybe later in life.
Yeah, but this is for escaping the city, and I feel like this house would probably be better as a rental rather than something to actually purchase. Maybe like a holiday sort of house for a massive family, because it's a lot of money to spend on a house that isn't. I mean, well, it's got good connections.
Well,
and everything according to what the article says.
Yeah.
So maybe
if you work in Lincoln, but if you work in London or whatever, it's a bit like out in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean here. But it looks very nice. I mean, it has a very nice, not going to say old-fashioned, but it has a nice simple style on the outside, and the inside looks very, very modern. It's very white. For instance, the kitchen has an island and everything. You can see this shot here. So there's you've got the lounge on the left, you've got staircase on the right. It looks very modern again. Like the lounge, I'm not sure if we have a photo of the lounge or the inside of the lounge, but right now what I can see is you've got these fancy looking chairs, if you can call them chairs. They're not exactly lazy boys. They're very low on the ground, and they're sort of a puffed material. It's probably like just a smaller sofa. It's got a fireplace, but it's not a fireplace, is it? It's a
wood burning stove.
Yeah, it's a wood burning stove where there would be a fireplace.
Yeah, the decorations, stripy carpets, and it's like Dalmatian pictures on the wall. Must be dog lovers. There's a little pond in the back garden.
Very small, but it's there. That's pretty fun. It's a fun little thing.
I don't know if the property includes all these outhouses here. I mean, there was a driveway in there, so it must get quite a bit of land. Yeah,
I imagine this has like a spacey garden as well and everything. I mean, this shot is of the garden right here with the tiny pond in it, so...
Yeah, it says it's got 4/5 bedrooms. I don't know what that means. Has it got 4 or 5?
What's 3 reception rooms?
It's got 3
and 4
downstairs.
bathrooms.
Yeah, 2 ensuite bathrooms, lawned gardens with hedgerows, and
But like,
views across open fields.
but that's what I mean. Is this really a is this really a house for newlyweds? It's got 4 to 5 bedrooms and it's got 4 bathrooms and it's massive. Like, this is such a big house. It feels like it'd be more for like a whole family reunion or something. You know, I'm not sure anyway.
Well, they do say that there might be some coronavirus babies, because people having been locked away for a long time, not being able to leave the house, that in 9 months' time we might see a baby boom. So if they buy this house and lock themselves in, like, maybe they'll fill up the bedrooms in 9 months.
Hey, I don't see that as an impossibility. Maybe they just happen to have bought this house while we're reading the article, and now, well, they're there doing whatever they need to do.
Okay, well, that concludes today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for tuning in again. And don't forget to subscribe whichever way you want to consume, whether you want to YouTube, watch the videos on YouTube, see what we can see on the screen, or go to the podcasts, get it on the move, in the car, when you're on the running machine, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Drop some comments in the comments section. I think that's just available on the YouTube.
Yeah, but if you want to drop a comment, just head over to the YouTube, and you'll be able to do it if you're not able to do it on any other platform.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take part in an episode, if you've got some advice to give out, or you just want to join in on the news recap, if you're an expert in conveyancing or property, please get in touch. We'd be happy to hear from you.
And with that, I guess we'll be saying goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.